You can keep your calls, texts and emails coming on that, and you maybe have your interest just piqued by our next guest. You may be into this because Keith Parker's launched a special Facebook group which sets out to recapture the good old days, not the Edwardian sort with a Leonard Saxon, his gavel from Leeds City Varieties, but something a little more up to date. It's an open group, and 4 of the group are in this morning. We've got Keith Parker to my right. Morning, Keith.
Morning, David.
Neil Taylor with him as well. Neil, nice to see you.
And you, Dave.
All right. Sharon Clark is off to the left-hand side. She was snapping away, taking the pictures. Nice to see you, Sharon.
Morning.
How are you?
Very well, thank you.
Okay, and Glenn Ramsden is with me centre stage here. Glenn, nice to see you again.
Good morning.
All right, who's going to tell me about this good old days Facebook page? And they all point in Keith's direction. Keith Parker, tell me about it. What's this about?
Well, basically, David, it's just a group on Facebook where there's plenty of old photographs of Hull through the ages, Victorian up to the modern day. People can post pictures, have a look at them, make comments on Hull, and just generally talk about how things used to be.
Right. Okay.
And even as they are now, so...
Strangely enough, chaps and chapettes, we've been talking this morning. I don't know whether you heard, you were delayed coming into the studio, you've been waiting a while, talking about the past impinging on the future. Has anybody got any thoughts on what they've been hearing this morning about John Morfin's objections to Siemens coming in because of the history down at Alexandra Dock?
I can understand.
This is Neil, by the way.
I can understand what the guy's saying, but at the same time, progress. Things move on, and if it's for the good of the community, then me personally, I haven't got a problem with it.
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously the docks have always been a working environment, and if Siemens need to have a factory, then it's got to go somewhere.
Okay, let's return to the subject in hand, good old days. Sharon, how did you get involved in this? Apart from, are you the official photographer? I noticed you've been snapping away this morning.
No, it's nothing to do with me. It's all Keith's idea. He just dragged me along with him.
Yeah, she's
come into your mic a bit there, Sharon, so we can hear you a bit. With 4 mics on the go here, it's an interesting technical balance. A technical challenge that, frankly, I'm not up to, but never mind, we'll get through it. How did you get involved, Glenn?
Memories of Hull, really. I love sharing memories of Hull, and I love the history of my city. I like Hull. I like my little town. But actually, sharing experiences on there is fantastic. We've put a lot of photographs on, and then that kind of inspired me to go to Mum's and dig around Mum's photograph collection and scan those. So there's pictures of from like Wheeler Street Youth Club from the 40s and things like that. And there are a lot of names on the back of these photographs, and if you put them on, someone else somewhere knows a person, and on it goes, and the memories come out.
That's it, other people put their memories to it and say, oh, well, I remember so-and-so from there, and it's just sort of like, it snowballs, doesn't it, sometimes?
Incredible, yeah.
Okay, so what are people talking about on there? Are you all sort of...
Anything and everything.
Right.
Me, I'm a massive fan of my beloved Hull City.
Right, okay.
So,
good point last night, by the way, Neil. I thought it was a good point down there at Birmingham.
And great commentary as always.
Oh, well, thank you very much. He can come again. See you across the week. Let him in again. All right, okay.
Yeah, there's pictures of whether it be Hull City, Hull FC, Hull Kingston Rovers. I'm also a big music fan. My stepfather was in a local group in the 60s.
Okay, what were they called?
They were called the Ways and Means.
Right, okay. Snappy name, that.
Ways and Means, yeah.
So, were they a beat combo? They sound a bit folky to me.
Yeah,
oh, no, they were a bit
more beatly.
Right.
And they were very successful.
Right.
Rod Temperton, who obviously wrote Thriller.
Yeah, for Michael Jackson.
He was part of the group.
Right.
So there's lots of pictures of the Beatles coming to Hull and various groups that have played in the city over the years, and people comment and say, I stood outside the ABC queuing for 6 hours to see David Cassidy, that kind of thing. It's just all good banter.
I think one the other day was talking about school dinners, wasn't it?
That's right, yeah.
Mint custard and tapioca and things like that.
There is a cafe, we've featured it before in Hull, I don't know whether you know this, next to Debenhams, the cafe, I think it's called the Coffee House. They do school dinners for adults.
Yeah.
Did you not know that?
No,
No.
like that.
Yeah.
Superb.
It might be worth a little trip out there because they do school dinners for adults. I don't know whether you can get tapioca.
No, I hope not, because I didn't like that.
So how many people are sort of joining in? Because I know Crafty upstairs.
So we've got...
she thinks it's brilliant.
As this morning, there's 1,200 odd,
Right.
So...
And rising quickly, I should
quickly,
imagine.
yeah. Sometimes it's by the hour it goes up.
And hopefully more after today.
Yeah, hopefully.
Well, hopefully. What is the website, the Facebook address?
It's called Hull, the good old days.
Oh, the good old days.
You just put that in the search bar on Facebook and it should pop up.
Sharon, what's your favourite thing that you've seen come up on the site that's sort of made you all nostalgic and misty-eyed?
I like the before and after pictures where Keith will put what was there before and what's there now.
Right.
And then I just like all the comments that people do. The people in the group are fantastic. Mm-hmm. Some really nice people.
Yes, I did one the other day where I like to mess about with Photoshop.
Right.
Do you know the Wilberforce Memorial?
Right, yeah.
It used to be up, just over there next to the entrance to Prince's Quay.
Right.
So I kind of mashed that together so you could kind of see what it looked like now.
Right. What, with the shopping centre behind it?
Yeah, you can just about see it.
Interesting.
Where the Barclays Bank is next to City Hall, there used to be a big tower there called the Prudential Tower.
Right.
So I've kind of put that back there so you could see what it looked like, you know, as if she was there today, sort of thing. So things like that, really.
Glenn, what's caught your eye? What's made you misty-eyed?
All sorts of bits and pieces, really. The nightclubs, the music, but also Keith's German submarine on the Humber Bank.
Right. Okay. Tell us about this.
Well, I come across a picture, you know, I just googled it, and there was this picture. It was just a German submarine beached onto the River Humber, not far from the Ezel foreshore.
Right.
There's no information on it at all, so you know, I put it on see if anyone remembered it, but no one has done yet. So if any of the listeners,
did it just drift up, or had it been captured?
It had been captured, and then obviously they just left it beached it on the Humber. So, and there's people like walking over it.
Yeah.
Oh, if anybody knows, do let us know on the programme. But you can go to Hull, the good old days on.
There was another one
Facebook,
from 1915,
right,
where a British submarine was bombed while it was in neutral waters off Denmark.
Right.
And they brought all the bodies to Hull.
Right.
And there was procession in town. There's, you know, loads of memorials, weren't there? Pictures of flowers. It was massive.
All right. Neil, what are your favourite things that have popped up on the site that maybe you didn't know existed?
Brandzone.
Right.
Obviously, I know Brandzone, but the fact that it was once like the RAF base at one time. Yeah, and there are still a few other houses there. I love to see how Brandsholme was as a kid growing up on Brandsholme. It's nice to look back on, and but the best part about the group for me is it's like a community.
Yeah.
Everybody gets on with everybody else. We've all got a story to tell, and hopefully many more stories to come.
Are you gonna? I know you're doing it on Facebook, but have you any plans to do maybe something more formal and a get together, a party, an exhibition, or anything?
Been discussed on it on the group, you know, that hopefully a lot of us can get together and just discuss our memories and photographs and things that we know about Hull.
I think the best thing about the group that Keith created is the fact that people who don't live in Hull anymore, there are members worldwide.
Members from Australia, Canada,
and it's great for them
America,
to look back
France,
on other people's photos, and they can look back and it evokes memories of their childhood, even though they're not in the city anymore. You know, it's good for them to look on.
Is there anything the four of you, I'll ask you individually, is there anything the four of you would like to see that you've heard about, and there's a photo you'd like to see or a tale you'd like to hear? You can say, no, I'm satisfied with my life, I've seen everything, if that's too difficult a question. As I look at Sharon, who looks a little bit worried by that question. Sharon?
I like everything that's in there, and the more that people add, I'll read it all.
Okay, Glenn, what about you? Is there anything?
I'm enjoying some of the inside shots of the nightclubs and pubs that we're finding at the moment.
Because you couldn't remember them at the time.
I couldn't even see them.
you were enjoying yourself too much.
I remember the backstairs when you used to get thrown down, and that was about. Yeah, it's just the inside of the building.
Have you got a picture? I went to see on George Street, just behind us there, and I think it was Dingwalls at the time. I don't know what it was before
there's
then.
a picture on that. Scamps, wasn't it? Scamps,
I went to see John Cooper Clarke there, the punk poet who played the Freedom Festival and was excellent last year. And I'm sure he played there, which was a slightly bizarre venue. And I do remember the phones on the table.
That's right. Yeah.
That's right. That's how you used to chat people up, wasn't it? You rang somebody else at another table.
Table, so I quite fancy you. You're the girl in the blonde.
Oh, right. Keith, did you do that then?
Might have done a few times.
Did anybody go, sorry, you've got the wrong... Anything, Neil, that you'd like to find or see?
No, because for me, any photograph is a good photograph.
Yeah.
Because it's somebody's memory of a certain place at a certain time. So any photograph for me, although if anybody's got any of my beloved Hull City players out, I'm quite happy to view those.
Right, okay. What about yourself, Keith?
Well, like I say, there's maybe 2,500 pictures on there at the minute.
Right.
I think what we'd like to see more is more of East Hull, possibly.
Right.
Because it seems to be predominantly it's
Hazel Road.
Right. The fishing communities, because they're well documented in the past.
So down the docks and things like that.
Yeah.
Maybe a picture of somebody on that wall or the crane at Alexandra Dock.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Before it's possibly knocked down.
Yeah. Funnily enough, David, we're going there in a minute.
Are you?
No.
Neil,
We're going to take a photo.
Well, you might. It is an important listed structure and facility. It's just how you work in sympathetically with the future, really.
I'm sure they could work it that it's still kept there,
Okay, so remind me of the Facebook address.
It's
all
the
free
Good
to
Old
join.
Days.
Hull the Good Old Days.
And it's on Facebook.
Okay.
Put it in the search bar and you should be able to find it.
Okay, any videos on there? I was going to suggest to you, I don't know whether you're allowed to do it because of the copyright thing, but the Stones, I don't know whether you've ever seen the Rolling Stones Pathé News footage of them playing in Hull. There's a little feature. Check that out on
But
Pathé
some people
News.
do, put a link for YouTube, so you just click it on there and it takes you to YouTube. And
It is stunning. 1964, I think, and it's in colour, and it's absolutely. I thought it was stunning, and I like the Stones, but it's absolutely brilliant stuff. So I don't know whether you
the lady on reception, she gave us a link this morning, didn't she, to YouTube about an Alan Plater play,
right?
From Hazel Road in the 1960s, was it? 70s.
Yeah.
Well,
Land of Green Ginger. It's called.
Thanks very much for coming in, Keith, Neil, Glenn, and Sharon. Facebook, Hull.
The Good Old Days.
The Good Old Days.
Without the gavel.
Without any Leonard Sachs references. If I was erudite,
yes, he was, wasn't he?
I would have done some Leonard Sachs, but I'm not, I'm afraid.
My vocabulary's a bit small this morning.
So is mine. We'll have a bit of Blondie. Lovely to meet you. Thank you very much for your time this morning.
It's been very enjoyable.